In my very first video titled Candidate Not Interested, I talked about getting a job at a convenience store / gas station / ice cream shop that I called the Dairy Store. This was after unsuccessfully getting a job at a Dollar General because of some incompetent hiring managers. After getting the job as a store clerk at the Dairy Store, I was told to come in on the following Monday at 3 p.m. with my ID and social security card. That Monday, I walked from my house to the Dairy Store with those items. I left my house at about 2:45 and the walk took at most 10 minutes. When I got to the store, the manager, Bobby, greeted me and took me through the door leading to the back office. She copied my ID and social security card onto a piece of paper and made my schedule for the week. She was having me work from 3 to 9 p.m. on a few days of the week, including that Monday. I was fine with that, since I wouldn't have to wake up early. Bobby then handed me a Dairy Store shirt and apron. She left me alone in the back office so I could change from the shirt I was wearing into the work shirt and then put on the apron. I walked out of the back office through the door into the area behind the counter where the cash registers were placed. Behind the counter was a big wall of tobacco products. On the other side of the counter were various shelves and racks arranged diagonally, containing mostly food products. To the right of the shelves, from the counter's point of view, is the freezer containing frozen food products, mainly ice cream. Behind the shelves was the display cooler containing various drinks. Walking straight from the office door to the end of the counter and to the left would lead me into the serving area where ice cream, milkshakes, and malts were made and served to customers. Bobby introduced me to one of my new coworkers, Ayana, who would show me how to make something in the serving area. I was mainly going to be working in the serving area on my first day, as using the cash register would wait until a later day. In the serving area, Ayana showed me all of the ice cream that were displayed in their tubs for the customers to see and for us to scoop. On the other side of the display were the mixers used for making shakes and malts. There were 2 of them spaced far apart from each other. Between them was the little cold storage area containing malt base, which is kind of like a flavorless ice cream normally used in shakes. There were also various little tubs containing different flavored syrups or shakes such as vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry, along with a heated pot of hot fudge. Ayana asked a customer walking by if he wanted a free shake, since I had to make one as she was instructing me how to, and there was no point in letting it go to waste. The customer said yes, and I believe we were making a vanilla shake. First, I would get a cup for the shake. The shake sizes were regular, large, and giant, though I think an easier system would have been small, medium, and large. For this shake, we got a regular, or small, cup. The second step was to add vanilla syrup. Since it was a regular sized shake, I only needed to add 1 ladleful. Next was to add milk. There was a little cold storage area where milk was kept. I got it and poured enough into the cup until it was slightly below a little line on the outside of the cup. The next step, specific for regular size, was to put a metal ring onto the cup. I wouldn't need to do this for the 2 bigger sizes, but I guess the smallest size was more susceptible to spills when mixing. After adding that metal ring, I then added malt base, 2 scoops for regular size. It was then time to start mixing. I set the cup with all the stuff in it onto the mixer. There were things to set the cup on the top and bottom, though in this case, the metal ring would be set on the top. I started mixing by pressing a little switch on the top of the mixer. While the components were mixing inside, I slowly spun the cup to evenly mix them. The mixer had 3 speed settings, and I started on the slowest, gradually moving to the fastest. After the shake looked mixed enough, I removed it from the mixer, took off the metal ring, and showed it to Ayana. She said it looked right, and I put a lid on it and handed it to the customer, who said it was good. I may have had a few customers come up to the serving area, wanting scoops of ice cream, along with shakes and malts, but I know that another task I had was sweeping and mopping the floor of the whole store. I got the dust mop from the back and started gathering dust and dirt into piles. While I was doing this, I thought to myself that I had a college degree and I was cleaning a store. I deserved better than this. After piling the dust and dirt, I got a broom and dustpan to sweep up those piles. While I was using the broom, I heard an "excuse me" from behind me. I turned around and saw a man. He asked me if we had any more of the drink Snapple. I told him I didn't know since it was my first day. Instead of listening and maybe going to an employee who might have known, he asked, "Well, can't you check?" in a rude way. "Okay," I responded, confused at the attitude. I walked to the display cooler containing the drinks, looking inside to find the Snapple, unaware that there was a door to the side that I could go through to get behind the cooler, so I could have checked more thoroughly. I didn't know this since it was my first day, as I clearly told the man. While I was looking into the cooler, I guess that guy got another employee to go check behind the cooler to get him a Snapple drink. Noticing this, I went back to my task of sweeping, but that guy then came up to me, telling me that I was supposed to check behind the cooler. When I didn't respond, he asked, "Can you speak English?" "Yes," I answer. "Well, not very good," he said as I walked away. I believe I told him in plain English that it was my first day. What was the matter with that guy? It was just some Snapple he wanted. Was he dependent on that drink? There was no need for that attitude. It was my first day. How was I supposed to know how to thoroughly check for drinks behind the cooler? Also, after he got the Snapple he wanted, he still chose to be rude to me. I don't know if Bobby or any of my coworkers were aware of how he talked to me, or they might have told him to leave with nothing. Or at least they should have. I don't remember seeing him after that day. If I did, I guess I forgot what he looked like. After that experience, I finished sweeping with a broom and then used a mop to wipe the floor, after placing wet floor signs throughout the store. Didn't want to get sued, like in the SpongeBob episode Crabs vs. Plankton. After mopping, I stayed in the serving area for the rest of my shift, serving whoever came up. When my shift was over, I grabbed the shirt I originally had from the back, said bye to my coworkers, and walked home. I did not expect to have a rude customer experience on my first day. That experience is the most memorable part of that first day working retail. That Snapple guy must never have worked in customer service, or never learned respect growing up. If you had a rude customer experience, especially on your first day, please comment down below. I plan to share a few more experiences working at the dairy store, so if you want to hear them, please subscribe and leave a like. As always, thanks for listening and have a nice day.